Jared Chan says, you claim hierarchies are efficient enough, yet you claim 99% of creative people get stuck at the bottom. Oh, yeah, well, that's not a contradiction. What kind of propels you up hierarchies of authority is intelligence and conscientiousness, right? And so then you might say, well, what about creativity? And it looks like creativity is, as you sort of know, is an out-of-the-box phenomena. And the problem is that if you're within a hierarchy, there's a ladder upward that you can climb rung by rung. And basically to do that, you have to do your damn job. Now you might say, yeah, well, isn't creativity, necessary? And the answer to that is absolutely, but it's not that useful when you're at the bottom, because who the hell wants to hear your damn creative ideas when you're just starting out? You're just a pain in the neck. Even if you're right, even if you're brilliant, you're just a pain in the neck if you're creative at the bottom, because you're coming up with all these radical ideas that are going to shake up the structure of the hierarchy. And plus, you haven't indicated your credibility. You haven't demonstrated your credibility to any great degree. So people are going to just write you off they're just going to write you off because it's easier than taking you seriously. Now, the funny thing is that as you climb up the hierarchy, creativity becomes increasingly necessary until when you're at the very top, it's absolutely vital. And many, many companies suffer from the fact that they, promote conscientious people continually up the ladder, and then they end up at the top with no creative people. But it's hard for the creative people to climb to the top because creativity isn't one of those things that ratchets you up a hierarchy of competence. So they're efficient on the conscientious end and efficient on the intelligent end, but creativity is a whole different thing. I mean, partly because how the hell do you evaluate a creative person? You can't, by definition, because to have a structure of evaluation means that something has to be done in a tried and true and measurable manner, and that isn't what a creative person does. Like they make a left turn, a 90-degree turn, and they say, well, I'm going to do it completely differently. It's like, well, how is someone going to evaluate you if you do that? Now, you might be right, and creative people are often wrong, but sometimes and vitally dead right when no one else is. But it's really problematic. I mean, if you're a creative person, your best bet, I would say, is to discipline yourself and ground yourself in something relatively practical that will enable you to eke out some sort of living, and then to practice your creative endeavor on the side. You can head headlong into it and try to make money and be creative at the same time. But I'll tell you, man, my experience has taught me, and this is a lot of experience and a lot of watching, and it's not something I'm happy to say, is that it's very, 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 very difficult for creative people to monetize their creativity. And most of the time, it's an exercise in futility. So what you have to do is stabilize yourself in some sort of productive and traditional domain, and then use your extra time to work creatively and see if you can branch out that way.